Okay, great. So excited for you all to come. First of all, thank you so much. I know how busy you all must be. But this is an exciting time for us all to come together and continue to learn and teach and be with each other and create community. So today, once again, you are joining our AI in the Classroom Professional Development series. We're really excited. This is a three-part series. This is the first one. You're today joining the session called Empower Educators to Explore the Potential of Artificial Intelligence. And we're so excited for a jam-packed hour of learning. Now, AI is like the new, every time there's new things with technology that keep changing, but artificial intelligence is something that is here to stay and here to continue growing. So really want to learn more of how we can impact it as educators and teachers in our classroom. So I'm excited to introduce our leader, our expert, our teacher for this session, Becky Keene. And I've had the honor of working with Becky for many years and learning all the new and exciting ways we can transform our teaching. I feel like Becky always has the answer to what we should be doing next, how we should be changing our education. So Becky works as a director of operations for Insight to Execution. It's a consultancy company. She oversees a team of managers and professional learning specialists developing content for worldwide ed tech companies. She also is a professional and like an expert is what I mean in delivering training engagements and implementation planning for systemic change with major school systems around the US. She has traveled to work with teachers and school leaders in all four continents as a speaker, consultant, and professional developer. Becky, you just have a couple more continents left. So let's get those going. Her role as board member of Digital Labs, a game-based learning nonprofit, has led her to explore the immersive environments of games in education. She is a writer, an author. She is awesome. And honestly, Becky, it's such a privilege for us to have you today. But and I do really, really mean it, you do have all the answers to how to transform teaching. So we're really excited for you to come join us. I'm going to pass it to Becky, and she's going to take it away. And really, let's dive deep.
Thank you, Bushra. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. And I'm super excited to be here today with you all. I had of course, a tech glitch on my side. And so I was scrambling to relaunch everything that I already had prepped, but I'm all set now. So you should be able to see me and the presentation, and we are all set to just jump right in. So, again, thanks for the lovely intro. Just a couple of reminders, everyone. You can use the Q&A option to post questions and interact with the team. We will be moderating those, checking in with you. It's fun for us to see what's going on, which is awesome. And this call is also being recorded. So just a reminder that that we'll be able to put out the session recording for all of you post session. So Bushra already did my intro, but here's a little bit of me. If you'd like to connect, I'm on all the social media platforms that you're on. I'm most active on LinkedIn and Twitter or X. And so happy to connect with you if you have follow-up questions or things that you'd like to hear about more. But to start, I would love to hear from you all. There's about 50 of you in this call right now, and I would love to hear more about your comfort level with this topic that we're talking about today, empowering educators with the artificial intelligence tools that we have. So one of the things that you can do right now is use your mobile device and scan the code. I'm also going to make an announcement with the link to this form. So there it is in the chat, in the Q&A. If you'd like to use your device that you're watching this on to jump in and go ahead and give us a little response. How would you self-evaluate your expertise in the topic of AI? And so this is something, again, I'm looking for feedback from you all. And I already have one person who's, two people coming in. I'm actually going to swing this response window over to my screen here so we can check it out. Two people replying. Let's see what you have to say about your responses. And I love that someone posted to the Q&A their response. If you're for some reason not able to join the poll, it is completely reasonable that you would just post to the Q&A forum because we can see those as well. Great responses, everyone. Oh, this is a huge range. Very cool. And this is Forms live responses that are just showing us as people are jumping in. So this is a huge range, and I love that. And I love that no one committed to being able to lead the session. I think a lot of you maybe even could, because so many of us have been jumping into this idea of what's going on with AI in education for the last year, really, which is very exciting. So thanks everyone for submitting. I'm going to go ahead and move on. If you didn't get a chance to submit, that's okay. We're at about 20 people now. This is a session aimed more toward setting the foundation and setting our beginning knowledge. So today we are going to be talking about what is artificial intelligence. We have maybe some misconceptions about what artificial intelligence really is, and we want to clear those up. We're also going to talk about what is generative AI, which is this thing that has rocked our entire world, that came out really broadly in like February 2020 or January, February 2023, but was published last November. So it's been a year, and we've learned a whole lot in a year about what the possibilities are. And then finally, how can we use generative AI in our work as educators? Some of you who've joined this call may not be educators. Maybe you just saw this promoted and you wanted to jump in, but my target is always going to be education and what we can learn together. So in the Q&A, I would love for you to post a couple of comments. With what AI tools are you already familiar? So I'm watching the Q&A. It's right in front of me here on screen so that I can see some of your responses. What AI tools are you already using? Do you say, hey, Alexa, or hey, Siri, or okay, Google, I think it still is, in your day? What are you using AI for? And I'm just watching these to come in. We don't have to publish all of them to the moderation team. Hi, I think I know who this is.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Oh, now Siri's talking back to me. These are great. Okay, so lots of things coming in. ChatGPT was certainly mentioned, and so I'm glad you're here today, because if you're paying for ChatGPT, stop. That's my personal opinion. It's not a lack of endorsement, but we'll talk more about that. So what is artificial intelligence? The official definition that Microsoft Education is using is the one from the American Heritage Dictionary. And for translation and inclusion purposes, I'm going to read it. It says, artificial intelligence, or AI, is the ability of a computer or another machine to perform tasks or activities that are normally thought to require intelligence. Okay, so we normally would say, oh, a human has to figure out how to get from, their house to their place of work. And if there's a traffic delay, they have to figure out a detour. Well, now we have these AI tools that will reroute us to a new path automatically when it sees an accident up ahead. So things like that are things we use every day that we used to depend on our own expertise, and now we use these supports. So you may have used one of these tools in the Microsoft suite already, and these are AI powered. So just giving you a little taste of that, maybe you've created slides with PowerPoint Designer, or you've analyzed data in Excel. Maybe you have supported the writing process with Word Editor. Maybe you use spell check or grammar check or punctuation check. And those are now powered by AI. They're checking context. They're checking the context of the entire paragraph or written work. They're learning from your corrections and your ignores. And so this is something that we're using daily, most of us. Maybe you've prepared for a presentation with rehearsal feedback from Speaker Coach, and that's built into Teams meetings and to PowerPoint. So maybe you've used one of these tools. If you haven't, I can almost guarantee that you've used one of these things. You've used speech recognition with a mobile device. you've used word prediction, again, on your mobile device. Often these tools surface on mobile first. We see them on our phones. And what I think is a little bit comical is that we don't even notice often when our phone has an update or our phone presents us with a new piece of technology. We're all usually very excited. Oh, yay, look how this saved me time. I didn't have to type out, the whole sentence. But then sometimes when it happens in our work environment, we're startled. and I'm personally very excited to see that crossover. Maybe you've used image analysis. Maybe you've taken a photo of a plant or a constellation and an app on your phone has identified it for you, or a recipe or a product at a store that you'd like to find somewhere else. Maybe you've interacted with a customer service bot when you're trying to, make a return or purchase something. Maybe you've seen shopping suggestions or viewing suggestions on a streaming service or listening suggestions on an audio streaming service. Maybe you've used it for text analysis. Maybe you've seen Word Editor tell you that your sentences are too long, or maybe you've had it process information and then give you a summary. And these are things that we've been doing for a very long time, and these are all AI-generated tools. So again, AI has been around for a long time. We started with this umbrella field of artificial intelligence back in the 1950s, which is for many of us on the call, I'll call it before our time, right? And then it's grown drastically over the past 70 to 80 years into machine learning, which is a subset of AI that enables machines to learn from existing data sets and improve upon that data to make decisions. We've also seen deep learning, and that's very recent compared to the onset of artificial intelligence, where machine learning can take a vast amount of neural networks and process data in quantity and mass. And so instead of looking at, for example, one Excel spreadsheet, it's looking at the internet full of data, an entire data set. And finally, in 2021 was the actual beginning, not widely available, but the actual beginning of generative AI, where we started to see new content being available through generative models. So GPT-3 was an example, or DAL-E, these variational autoencoders, generational networks, and that's really contributed to the rise of AI completely. So generative AI specifically is newer in the education landscape. It's this subfield that allows us to generate examples, generate images, generate text, ideas, similar to the subset of current data. So generative AI, it feels like it's thinking like a person, but in reality, it's using these large language models and deep neural networks to search for patterns in the data and then give us information back based on those patterns. It's predictive models. It's like word prediction on, a next level, level 12. So they work by extracting information out of the data and then using probability to give us examples back. I have a book some of you may know called Sail the Seven Seas with Microsoft Education, and we find ourselves using C words all the time. And so I have 3 C's of generative AI. The C words just follow me around through life now. It's this rapidly growing field, but I feel you can break it down into 3 kind of categories. So the first category is create, where we can generate new content. The second category is communicate, where we can be sharing information with others that has been created with AI. And the third is code. Let's not forget that because AI can analyze data very, very well, and then now produce a response to us based on our prompts, it can analyze code, not just computer code, but the code of language. So translation services are a big part of generative AI, and that's breaking a language code or a language barrier. So these large language models can do, again, a wide variety of things. And the tool that Microsoft Education, or Microsoft, excuse me, but we use in Microsoft Education, but the tool that Microsoft has created is now called Copilot. And I love that name because it really shows us how generative AI is supposed to be your partner, your teammate, your assistant in all of the work that you're doing daily as an educator, that has taken up a lot of your time and can now support you in new ways and give you the opportunity to spend your valuable minutes actually working with students, instead of doing paperwork or analyzing data. In fact, let's talk about some of the things that large language models like Copilot, powered by Bing, do very, very well. So one is classification. It can tell us what something is. It can give us a category. It can summarize information. So instead of reading a long article or a long PDF, we can ask generative AI to give us a summary and expedite our understanding, and also help us know if we should dig deeper into that resource or move on to something else. It can translate, which is, again, an incredibly important feature. It can generate new information. Now, keep in mind, it's generating based on predictive data and analytics. So is it going to come up with a new concept that has never before existed in data? No, we have to rely on our human brains for that creativity. But it can analyze the existing data and then give us what feels like brand new content that is original based on analyzing that data. It can also dialogue with us. So one important part of Copilot is understanding that your first search or your first prompt is not the end of that story. It's not the end of the conversation. So we will take a look at iterative prompting in just a moment, but that's where we continue the conversation with Copilot and help Copilot understand what we're really trying to learn or what we're really trying to understand. Previously, with just a straight, Bing search, we might type in a search query, hope for great results. We might revise our query if we don't get good results, or we scroll to page 4 of the results. But in a Copilot model, we're able to simply ask for more or ask a different question. And Copilot, in fact, prompts us with follow-up questions that sometimes spur a lot of curiosity. So there's a lot of excitement here, and I'm seeing in the Q&A, some people are saying, I haven't even used this yet. I'm so excited to learn more. So I'm thrilled for that. All right. So AI in education, just a few things, because you might be thinking, especially if you were half the group who said, I'm just now learning about generative AI, you might be thinking, okay, but how would I use this in education properly, with academic integrity, and with something that is going to save me time as an educator? So there's a lot of things here. I'm just going to click through our list. You can use it to create feedback for students. Are you letting it score all the student work for you? No, but can you create feedback that you don't have to write by hand? Absolutely. Are you going to use it to create new strategies? For example, maybe you have a science lab or a math activity that your students have struggled with in the past and you'd like a fresh idea. Maybe you'd like it to pull some resources together for your students to read, or even rewrite a resource in the correct reading level. That's exciting. Things we used to do as educators by hand with our own brains, now we can use Copilot to assist us and help streamline that work. It can create rubrics for us. It can also generate task criteria. And what I love about this is, as the educator, I'm empowered to use this assistant to give me the ideas, to give me the starting points, and then I tweak and revise and modify and remix before I share with my students. Because I know what's best for my students, but just having that starting point saves me so much time. I can use it to generate some lesson plan ideas. I can use it to generate exemplar texts. So giving students those clear examples of what I'm expecting out of an assignment, so that they are scaffolded with a template that they can then understand my expectations. something that I know my children here who live with me highly value in all of their schoolwork. Documentation. So instead of creating, again, by hand, the step-by-step directions on how to do something, we can ask generative AI to do that for us. We can also create quick formative assessments. So maybe we see a web resource or a document that we would like Copilot to create a few little check-in questions about, and I can ask it to do that for me, copy and paste them into a forms assessment, make any changes I need to, and use that with my students immediately. So lots of excitement. I hope you're capturing this slide in a screenshot so that you have a little checklist of things to try out as you get started. Now, we've seen a lot of AI in the headlines, right? The pressures today are very different than several years ago. We had a pandemic disruption, the workforce is changing, industries are shifting. We have a very much more connected global population, more security threats, but the pace of technology has not slowed one bit. It's advancing incredibly quickly, and we see these headlines around the world, sometimes designed to scare us as clickbait, so that we go click on those articles and generate ad income, let's be honest. But then we have articles that are telling us what's actually happening. So make sure you're reading these headlines with your human brain in mind, and remembering that AI is truly shaping our future. It's not here to scare us. It's here to help and to be responsible. One of the ways that Microsoft has committed to the impact in education is through their responsible AI principles. Now, these are principles that I'm not going to dig into every single one here, but we have fairness, reliability and safety, privacy and security, inclusiveness, very important, transparency, and finally, accountability. And all of these principles can be kind of, dug into deeply on Microsoft's Responsible AI Principles site, which I've just posted for you in the Q&A. And I'll also share again at the end of this session. So these are things that Microsoft is committed to when developing AI tools. I've had lots of conversations with educators and leaders and with Microsoft engineers around topics like bias and what we call hallucinations or fabrications, when AI generates something that is inaccurate or AI is generating something with bias or with risk. How do we change the data set, or how do we impact the data set with our own correct information to help the AI learn what is correct and what is not correct? How do we apply filters? Because behind all generative AI are humans who are writing codes and algorithms. So it's incredibly important that we put our trust in an organization like Microsoft to do the right thing. And I truly believe that they are 100% dedicated to that. And we could talk more about that, separately. But it's something that I believe can truly change the face of education in a really exciting way. So it's time for another poll. I hope you'll join me with another check-in poll. I'm going to post the link to this in the Q&A right now as an announcement, so you should see that. You can also join by scanning the QR code on screen and responding to some quick information. So let's take a look at these results together. I'm going to switch over now to our live results, live display results. This is the last one. Let's go ahead and look at live results for this current poll. Here we are. One person has submitted already. Let's go ahead and look at the bar map, because that gives us an opportunity to see all the options. Automated processes, that's a big one for me as well. Let's see what some other people are going to respond with. Okay, personalized learning. So that's a big part of what impacts our students positively, right? Where our students are able to see a wide impact of AI responding to them, coaching them. We have a whole set of coaching tools from Microsoft. Oh, look at this. Okay, we're back to tree map. 15 responses, a lot of automation. It is so exciting to save time, right? Menu planning, things you can do in your home as well. Oh, personalized learning is now winning. I love watching this, like it's kind of like a race to see who pulls ahead. Learning engagement got small, but I think that's because those of you on the call are already doing amazing, engaging things with your students, and you're looking for that co-pilot support. Awesome. Well, this sounds great. Personalized learning for the win. We're going to call it with personalized learning. Thanks for participating in that. So now is the time where we get to dig into what this actually might look like for you. It's the moment you've been waiting for. We're halfway through our call today, and now we get to talk about what this actually looks like. So Copilot, if you heard the words Bing Chat, that's because prior to November 15th, we were calling this tool Bing Chat because it's powered by Bing. But at Ignite in November, Microsoft announced they're going to unify the naming conventions on all of its AI assistants that's powered this way. And so now we get to use one word. Copilot is our new word for what Microsoft offers. Copilot is amazing. Let's just say that. That's why we're here, right? Is to check out Copilot. So I'm going to go ahead and move into live demo. Now, that means that generative AI is going to be responding to me. That means that the results may change from demo to demo. And that's honestly all part of the excitement because we know that the information coming out is going to be fresh and different every time. Oops, sorry, there we go. And so I'm going to go ahead and launch Edge browser. Here we are. I'm pulling this over right now. Okay, so I'm in Edge browser. And I'll just go ahead and go, oh no, I don't want to be full screen. And let me tell you why I'm not going to be full screen quite yet. This is just the standard, Bing homepage that's been around for a long time. I don't know about you, but the Bing homepage is my wallpaper as well. It's my desktop. And it looks like Rockefeller Center Christmas tree is the wallpaper of the day. So inside Bing, if you're using Edge browser, I need to point out something incredibly important to you. The Copilot side pane is sitting right here in Edge browser, ready to go at any time. So any web page that you're on, for example, let's go to the Minecraft education website. Okay. Anytime you're navigating into a website, you're able to access the Copilot side pane if you're using Edge browser. And what's great about that is we have these features running right across the top of the pane that give us additional functionality right from within the web browser. So we can use chat, which we're going to dig into in a moment. We can also use compose, which is that communication C I was talking about earlier, where I can write a prompt, set a tone, set a format, set a length, and then ask for content to be generated for me. I also have this Insights tab, and this is a really fascinating feature that I have been using so often to give us more information about the content on the page. So this is Education Edition, right? It's giving us some photos. It's giving us information about the background of the website, some key phrases, even some summarization of the web page itself, some videos that might be related to it, and some referral links. It also gives us analytics based on NewsGuard information on if this site is trustworthy or not. And then some analytics from around the world on who's accessing this site and how are they finding the site and where do they go next. All of this information is highly important in teaching our students digital citizenship skills to be able to critically analyze information they see online, its relevance, its authenticity, its bias, its authors, and all of that can be done through that third tab. So keep that in mind when we're talking about Bing Chat is the opportunity we have as educators to ensure that we are meeting the functionality of all three of these sections. We are going to focus a little bit more on the chat feature today because that's something that you all talked about is very exciting with automating processes and personalized learning. This particular integration is available for personal Microsoft accounts. So 13 and older personal accounts that are free, Outlook.com. It's also available inside your school system, and that for staff and faculty at this time. So that means that you have this safe, secure environment in Copilot with commercial level data protection that allows you to keep your data set private. We have a whole separate presentation on digging really deeply into that piece. For now, let's go to just straight up Copilot, okay? So I'm going to minimize my side panel and give this full screen view. This is my personal Copilot. You can see I'm logged in as Becky. This is not a fake demo account. These are my actual queries that I've been using in the last few days. I did clear some out just for privacy purposes because I was going to be screen sharing this, but I left a lot of legitimate ones. So that is a lot of fun. So in this tool, it's prompting me with some kind of basic starting information that gives me an idea of what I can do. It also gives me 3 conversation style choices. Now, this is something kind of interesting that other models or applications with generative AI may not offer. Creative is the default in education. So if you're inside your school system's login and you're using that Copilot with commercial level data protection option, you'll see a green privacy bar next to your name. You'll also be reminded about how private your data is and that your data is not being stored or seen by anyone at Microsoft. Your students are safe using Microsoft's tools. But for those of us who are in a consumer space, it's going to show up as balanced for the first time. And then we have precise. So how are these different? The creative mode is a little bit, and if you hover, you get a tooltip here. So it's just original and more imaginative. Balanced is informative and of course still a friendly style. Precise is going to be really concise and straightforward. So if you're starting to fact check something, it does seem like precise would be a really good model, correct? So lots of possibilities that you can do right here. This is available, just a reminder, this is available on mobile and also on desktop. So you could be doing this from the Bing app on your mobile phone right now. So let's start with write the outline of a book report to help me get started. So this is something that we could be using in education to say, okay, how would I get started writing a book report? And what's great about Copilot is it tells us the search results, or excuse me, the search query words. This is a scaffolding component that helps our students understand what to search for. What are the key words in a good prompt or in a good search query in a traditional search engine that would help us. Then we're receiving some information about what to do, and we can do some additional things here. We can give it feedback on if this was a good result, something we were looking for. I can copy this and paste it somewhere else. I can also export this text into another space. Another thing that Copilot does is it gives references out on the internet. So it's pulling information with those generative AI tools, predictive analytics based on large language models and deep neural networks and machine learning, all this vocabulary we've just learned, but it's also giving us the sources. So if I think this is excellent, I can go visit these websites and learn more. If I think this information is questionable, maybe it doesn't sit well with me, or maybe I'm wondering, is this actually correct? I can follow these sources and find more information about it. And that's called lateral reading, when we follow a link given to us and go learn more in a website. This is something that Microsoft Search Coach teaches students to do, and it's presented right here in Copilot as a key feature. Now, because Copilot is connected to the internet's data sets. It's also pulling information live out in addition to text. So one of the things that I love about Copilot is the opportunity for it to have real-time imagery, maps, information, all these tools that give us an opportunity to learn more instead of just settling for a text response. So I could also continue the conversation with that iterative prompting we talked about with some kind of prompted questions here. What is the difference between a book report and a book review? I'm actually curious to see what Copilot will tell us. So I'm actually going to choose that follow-up question. It gives us the search, and it's going to generate some more information. Now, one of the things I want to point out to you is that you are in control of how you receive this information back because you are the one generating the prompts. So this is a long and detailed explanation. Let's say I want something short that I can present to my students. So I'm going to add, and I'm just typing here in real time, can you summarize that comparison with bullet points written for a 10-year-old student? Okay, so I'm now giving it additional information. I'm asking for the format that I want, and I'm asking for the audience that is appropriate for my purposes. So Copilot is going to go look for that information and instead present these results in short bulleted points. It's reducing the reading level, reducing the length of the sentences as well. And then this is something that I could use more appropriately with my students. So that's an example of iterative prompting and telling Copilot exactly what we want. Here's another example of what, let's start a new topic. Okay, new chat, new topic. Let's go organize the last 10 years of worldwide volcanic activity into a table. This is something that could be used in a science classroom. And again, I'm just using the samples on screen as part of our live demo here. But I'm hoping that some of you are modifying those and adding in your own information. But this is a good one for me to show because look at how it's organizing this information in a beautiful table. And oh, what's this button do? So one of the features of Copilot, because it's integrated with Microsoft's full Office suite, if I ask for a rubric or a table or a chart, I often receive this, and how many years are we going back? 10. Okay, it's almost done generating. There we go. Gives me where that data came from, extremely important to follow our sources. And it also gives me the opportunity to open this content in Excel. So look at that download coming right into Excel so that I can modify this data in a really powerful way. So now I can use Excel. I'm going to just swing this over to my other monitor so you can see it. Now I have this information organized in a table. And wouldn't it be great if I could then use the AI tools in Excel to do things like conditional formatting, right? I can tell Excel to do something with this data based on the AI tools that are built in. I can ask it questions, create pivot tables and splice lines. Really, really cool to think through the possibilities here. So again, this integration is so incredibly exciting because it saves us an awful lot of time. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about additional features within Copilot. We could spend a whole lot of time. In fact, we were considering, and if you're interested, you should post in the chat, considering doing a follow-up to this webinar on digging into prompting, how to write great prompts, more information about that. But right now, we also want to make sure you get a chance to see imagery. Image generation. Image generation is a part of Microsoft's Copilot suite. It's powered by DALL-E, and it gives us an opportunity to create new images. Now, what's really cool about this is that it works on our prompts, of course, but we don't have to be inside Image Creator. We can actually do image generation from right inside Copilot's main site. So a couple of things you can do. You can start your prompt in Copilot with create an image and continue, and I'll show this in just a moment. And that kind of signifies to Copilot, hey, I want an image here. I can also go to bing.com/create, and that takes me straight into the image generator website that's powered by DALL-E. Or again, I can use that sidebar in Edge browser to generate an image straight from where I am on any website. So a couple of tips as we go into a demo of what this looks like. It's helpful when you're generating images if you clarify format. So use an adjective, use a noun, use a verb, use a style of art. So for example, I might ask for a green Amazon jungle, right? Adjectives and nouns. I might ask for it to be glowing at sunset. That's a verb, glowing. And then what style? This is in a pixel art style. So this is one that I did, and that's the generative AI image that I received. So let's try this together live. Very exciting to always give that a go. I'll go back out to the Minecraft site, and I'm going to model this by using the Copilot sidebar in Edge browser. I will choose creative mode because I'm asking it to be creative. And I would love to hear from you in the chat. Let's see if we can get some feedback here. I need an animal. Does anyone have an animal that they'd like to post? Oh, I wasn't scrolled all the way to, oh, there I am, all the way to the bottom. I need an animal. Let's see here. Anyone? I'm going to be all by myself coming up with it. Oh, good. A buffalo. Perfect. Thank you, someone. Okay, so create an image is what I'm typing of a, okay, and what is the buffalo doing? I need a verb. What is the buffalo doing? Oh, now I'm getting lots of animals coming in. That's awesome. Okay, so now I'm looking for an action. The buffalo is more animals. Thank you, everyone. Ah, the buffalo is skateboarding through, and where could the buffalo be? We'll put him in a city, through a cityscape. And then I wonder what our style should be. Since we're on the Minecraft page, let's choose a Minecraft style. And a Minecraft style. Okay, thank you for all the help, everyone. This was great. I love that we did this together. So I'll hit submit. Now, Copilot is going to do some thinking. It's going to search the internet, search the data set for buffalo, for skateboarding, through cities, through Minecraft. It's going to use predictive analytics to think about pixel by pixel, what would this art look like? Then it's going to generate imagery. It does take a moment. The miracle of generative AI imagery does take a moment. Oh, and someone just posted, and he's wearing a hat. I wish I had seen that first because that would have been really fun. So let's look at these results. I have a buffalo skateboarding through a city in Minecraft style. Let's widen these up a little bit. So there's, okay, I love that one. That is adorable. We've got, oh, a little more pixelated of this one. We've got the buffalo was built in Minecraft blocks for this one, and number 4. So this is just an example of what image generation can do for us when we think through the different pieces of image generation. Now, one of the things you can do, and this is just happening now, this is hot out on the internet, is the Render Me 3D challenge. So this is one just little challenge for you. If you would like to go out to Microsoft Designer, you can ask it to create you. Now you'll have to use lots and lots of descriptive words to do that, but this is mine that I did yesterday. And I used lots of descriptive words to make sure that it felt like how I wanted to represent myself. Now, the fun of this is you could create an avatar that represents something that doesn't reflect your physical attributes. And lots of students will do that. They will pretend to be something else, and that's potentially very exciting as well. So if you choose to participate in the Render Me 3D challenge, make sure that you tag Microsoft Designer in your results and me. I would love to see your results. So that's an option for you to do as well. So back to our buffalo here. Just an example of things we can do. We can share this buffalo, so that gives us a link to this image specifically that was generated original for us today. You'll notice the little Copilot Bing icon here in the lower left corner, denoting this is original artwork generated based on your prompts. I can save to a collection. So you'll notice a collection, several collections that I have started, and this allows me to keep track of the images I've generated without downloading every single one. Because sometimes I'm generating them for a future project based on an idea and I want to be able to come back to them. So I can go ahead and save this to my Minecraft Academy collection, and then I can come back to it later. I can also download, of course, and finally customize in, you heard it here, Microsoft Designer. I'm already signed in with my Microsoft account, so it's going to pop me right in. Microsoft Designer is something where I can then create a newsletter, a card, a social media post with this imagery that I've created. So for example, oh, this is so fun. We're going to go in now and look at this skateboarding buffalo on a beach in a city, and I could choose to do a variety of different things with this image. So lots of possibilities here. I hope you're feeling excited because there is a lot you could be doing that is very creative and fun. All right, so some reminders as we talk about image generation. Generative AI follows patterns, as I've mentioned several times, but it does generate unique responses. So your images and your text will be original. One of the things that you can do to help with this process is to source where you got that information. So you might say it was created with Bing AI, or it was created by Copilot, or created by Microsoft Designer, because these are now images that are owned by by you if you created them, but they were generated by something else. And so it's an interesting thing in education to be thinking about teaching our students copyright. These images are not copyright. They were created by something with your prompt. So without getting into a legal battle over this, the thing that we recommend the most is that you simply cite your sources like you would with any other source, right? We always cite where we get our content. Another reminder is to adjust your prompt to meet your needs. Just like I showed you with my first prompt, I asked it to reformat the book reviews into bullet points, and you can always do that. So we've covered a little bit of Copilot, a little bit of image generation, a little bit of text generation. We even showed making tables and charts. There are more AI-powered tools in the Microsoft suite, and so I'm going to wrap up by just bringing our attention to some of those additional tools. Because AI has been around for a while in the Microsoft set, and sometimes we get so laser focused, and I'll speak for my own weaknesses here. I get so laser focused on the newest, latest, greatest thing, and sometimes I forget what's sitting there waiting to be used in my school system. It's super exciting. So this is something where we can go in and use, for example, Microsoft Flip. So Flip allows us to create a space where students can respond with voice, with video, or even just with words on screen if they chose to do that. If you have previously used Flipgrid, this is the same thing. It was renamed a little while ago, and so same great platform, same great tool. One of the great things about Flip is it includes Copilot right inside. So as an educator, you don't have to worry about coming up with the exact prompt for your idea. You can simply put in the topic that you're interested in, and Topic Copilot will create those questions for you. So again, saving you time and allowing you to get into responding to your students instead of having to come up with a prompt on, in the US, it's Sunday evening, other places of the world, it's Saturday evening. The evening before your first day of school is when usually educators are getting ready for the week. All right, another piece of content here, immersive reader. I hope you already know about immersive reader. If you do not, make sure you dig into that. Immersive reader is a place where you can learn, your students, can use translation features and reading coach features to allow them to get feedback on their own reading. It's speech transcription, captioning, translation, voice assistance, computer vision, optical character recognition, all built into one thing. And so students using Reading Coach can practice reading on their own and get feedback without their teacher creating an assignment in Teams. So this is a big deal. It looks for pronunciation, syllabification, reading speed, even vocabulary, particularly helpful at language learning. Whether it's a new language or their native language, those reading skills are incredibly valuable, and reading out loud helps us understand which places students struggle. Another opportunity is speaker or presenter coach. Now in PowerPoint specifically, the button says presenter coach. In Teams meetings, it says speaker coach, but they're the same technology that gives us a report at the end of the presentation on how we did. Personalized feedback on details like pitch and pacing and the filler words and inclusive language. It's also on LinkedIn. So if you're looking to find great support around how you're speaking, this is a great place to go. I highly encourage allowing your students to practice their presentations before they're up in front of a live audience. And finally, Search Coach. So Search Coach is all about finding good information online. So search literacy, information literacy, these are key skills for learners now and in the future. So Search Coach empowers us to help guide our learners through using Boolean style searching in a click-friendly environment that allows us to find trusted sites through NewsGuard, think critically about search results, and have an ad-free environment. We also know that inside this safe and secure space, students' data isn't being tracked. And so it gives us an opportunity. Well, it's not being tracked by Microsoft. You as a teacher can actually go see what they're searching and grade them on their search results, but that data is not being sold to someone. So that just makes me feel safe about helping my students be safe online. I see a question in the chat and I'm going to answer it right now because we're at our closing. It's perfect timing. Copilot is built in. It's completely free. Anyone 13 and over with a free consumer Microsoft account, just an Outlook.com account, can use Copilot at any time with no cost, running GTP4 and all of the image generation and Microsoft has provided tons of resources through their partnership with OpenAI. And so no, it does not add additional cost. In your school system, someone needed to have turned it on currently, but it is not additional cost. And these are services that come with your Microsoft 365 licensing agreement, and I am not a licensing agreement expert. So talk to your IT department or talk to the people that you work with to make sure you have all the services you need. But this is something that just comes with your Microsoft account. Very exciting. So closing reminders, always check for accuracy. You are the human. We trust you the most. So, use your lateral reading skills, use your Search Coach skills, reframe your prompt to ask for bias or ask for another opinion. These are things that can really help us model digital citizenship for our students and ultimately encourage critical thinkers, which is our goal. It's one of our C's in the book, so that's important. We also want to remind you about Microsoft's responsible AI principles. I posted this website earlier, and I will post it one more time here to the chat. There we go. So you have that. And then also some closing things that you could do beyond this time together. So we have some resources available for you. There are all sorts of courses on Microsoft Learn, which is Microsoft's platform for asynchronous self-paced learning. The AI for Educators course, which I overviewed today. There's also it's now Copilot for Educators, but the AKA is still being chat. We're still making all the shifts, all the transitions with the new name, but we are updating that course to be Copilot for Educators, and a quick start guide. So different resources that you can capture as a part of today's event. And let me grab the URLs for you and drop those in the chat for these resources. So I'm going to drop those in now. I had them in a separate little space. There we go. Okay, so you should have all of those links. And then finally, this session is eligible today for a Learn Achievement Code. So if you are using Learn, or even if you're not, you can earn points in Microsoft Learn for attending today's session. You can jump straight there using the QR code on screen, or the URL that I'm going to post to the announcements right now. If you follow that specific link, it'll take you right into your profile where you can redeem the code to show that you joined our session today and earn a certificate and points in your transcript training points. If you already have a Learn profile, that's really easy. If you don't, you can set one up while you're there for free with your Microsoft account, either a personal or a school account. I always recommend people use a personal account in case they ever leave their school. And then there's the redeem code for you to paste in, the achievement code, if you want to paste it separately. So I've given you 3 ways to redeem that code: the QR on screen, the link in the announcements, and the code I just pasted in. So hopefully everyone can get that. And we're bang on time. So thanks for joining today. This has been an amazing event. I really appreciate all of the excitement in the Q&A space. We so appreciate Education Plus and Microsoft hosting this event so that we could share with you all of the amazing information that's happening with AI in education.